the board chair, and one other board member, administration person, and the finance, or the human resources person. Form a committee to select 3 of the top proposals, have those come to the board, and then if the board thinks that those are viable sources, to invite those 3 people that want to make a proposal for executive search services to the board, and then the board selects one of them. So we should have had this as an item for discussion, because we probably need to determine if those people should be the people that are taking a look at those proposals and bringing before the board. Now, we sort of kicked that process around. It's almost exactly the same process we did to select an interim director.
Do we have a HR director? We don't actually have a director.
We have a HR
Administrative manager.
Administrative
And that's Robin.
And that's Robin, okay. The only thing I suggest is that the board may want to put a suggested cap on the cost of the service.
I believe we did. We did.
Oh, okay.
$20,000.
Okay.
Yeah, we did. We
We
did
do
do
that
that.
last meeting. 25, wasn't it? Yes.
Okay, fine.
It was already budgeted for.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
It is,
Did we talk about the procedure, about who would actually do it?
What you're
Or was that
suggesting
up
is sort
in
of
the air?
screening the responses to
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
request for proposal.
I mean, somebody's got to do that.
I don't think we specified that. But I think we could do so now.
Island Transit and the Island Transit Board Directors and Selection Committee. That's
Yeah.
what it was referring to.
so that needs to be right here.
Well, since these are going to come in, and somebody needs to take action before the 20th, our next board meeting, we don't have that time to waste.
So
Your choice.
I don't actually have concerns about the recommendations that you made. My only piece of feedback might be that is very Island Transit internal in terms of committee review, and my suggestion might be, and I don't know Ken's intentions from an admin perspective. Maybe you don't have to answer, I was just putting it out there. But if Robin is filling that HR admin position potentially, that we include a member of the public or a writer on the review committee, so that you have people who are looking for internal qualifications, but then also an external person who's looking at qualifications from what the public may deem as valuable traits. I find that when public agencies involve the public sometimes in these selections, that one vote and viewpoint is sometimes valuable.
Oh, no, this is a selection
This
of
is selection for this,
Right.
for the review.
Who's gonna
for
Firm.
somebody that's a firm that's
Oh,
going to
for
do
the
it.
firm.
It's not
Yeah,
for the
search.
Oh, well, then I
Yeah,
don't
not
care.
And I don't
Sorry.
think it's proper to include Ken in this, because Ken may, I don't know whether he wants to do this or not, he may want to apply for this position permanently, and he shouldn't be involved with a company that's actually going to take
Correct.
in the applications, or solicit the applications. I don't think that's
I don't think
No, thank you very much. I did something right.
You know about that.
You know, I'm prepared to make a motion on this to move this item along, if that's what you're looking for.
Well, I think we need to make some sort of decision.
Okay, the evaluation process on item Roman numeral 6. In the RFP, says that Island Transit staff and the Island Transit Board of Directors select a committee. These are people right here who know, excluding the interim director, the board, and we have a you can set a special time for this to review these, the RFPs and move on from there. We don't have to make it any more complicated than that. Now, that really was kind of a conversation motion, so let me refine that a little bit. It'd be the Island County staff who are our members present here from HR, from operations, from maintenance and finance, and legal, as well as the board members at a special meeting, select the, review and select the applicant for the research company.
Okay, I have three, right? Because in your quorum, so you have to create a committee.
No, if you had a special meeting, if everyone came, you could do it at a special
Yeah.
meeting.
Okay.
I'd second.
Would you envision the special meeting maybe preceding our next meeting in terms of scheduling?
It just kind of comes in when we get all of the applications in, and you
Or
probably
maybe
have to
sooner,
do a
yeah.
telephone conference with everybody to see who's available. You have to have a quorum. So it may be that one or two of us aren't going to be able to be here, and that becomes the committee.
Yeah. I think that's quite workable. So that's fine.
Okay, is there a second?
I second.
Okay, there's a motion on the table for formation of an evaluation committee for Rick Holmberg's motion, and second by Jill Johnson. Any further discussion on the item?
I'd like to just clarify with legal that if we have a special session, then we're doing the review of all applications in public. Do we have any concerns about reviewing all applicants in public?
You could actually do part of it in executive session, depending on what it was.
I mean, I don't have issues myself with doing it in public. I just what I want to do is make sure that we don't have, I mean, we're going to talk about strengths and weaknesses of private corporations.
You can do it either way.
Okay, so,
And we can look at that and we can make that, when we do the special meeting notice, we could,
make the determination at that time. Okay.
Any further discussion?
Yeah, discussion here, under the evaluation process, we have a point system that outlines how we're going to select it. There's no problem doing this in public.
Yeah.
You know, it's, people either meet the qualifications, they have better qualifications than others, and you give them a score, the scores are tabulated, they turn them in, and go from there.
Look, I didn't get that in my packet, so. you
No,
know.
you
Now you're
didn't.
just making me look dumb on purpose.
In fact, as a chair, board chair, I probably should apologize to you
That's
for
all
not
right.
having gone through the normal process that we do in prepping a new board member.
It's all right.
It happen.
It's just to make Rick look good, and I understand. I get it.
I came in yesterday digging for stuff.
Glad
There's
you're
a
flexible.
public disclosure within the RFP too, so as long as we clarify that.
Okay, we have a motion before us. Any further discussion? All those in favor of that motion, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous, thank you. Now let's move on to business item number 1, which we renumbered, and it is actually a discussion of resolution 1-15, which we started to do last month, and we didn't have the material in front of us to do it, and I don't know who wants to, Ken, do you want to carry forward with this? I mean, I know what it is. It's our affirmative action plan.
Another affirmative action plan, correct. Excuse me, it's a federal requirement for any transit agencies receiving federal funds, federal grant funds, to prepare annually an affirmative action program outlining the agency's activities relative to hiring employees and the makeup of the workforce in that agency. Robin has been working on that, and it's due into the feds right now, I guess, yeah. And it's a pretty basic report. It's been done every year, and, or is it 2 years? 3 years. So she has one prepared for the board's approval. She can go over it with you. If you have any questions, but I know that she wants to make a couple comments about it.
The first part of the plan actually includes that narrative that you were looking at. So that was included in the previous affirmative action plans that were submitted and approved by FTA. However, that's not a requirement. So because you're reviewing that, that section can be pulled out of this plan and still submitted to FTA, because the real part of the plan starts on section 2, which is page 45, and that is the meat and potatoes of the affirmative action plan. The rest is just information about island transit that is given for informational purposes. So if you are not comfortable with that, with either the narrative or the history of the plans, I don't think there's any problem with pulling that out and submitting just the section part.
That would be my preference. And then I did have just a curiosity question. So in the beginning of it, it talks about confidentiality and non-disclosure. And I guess my first question is that we're reviewing a document in public that is confidential and non-disclosable. And so typically, I don't know that those documents would come to a group like this if we're not able, I mean, the things that once they become public, they become public. And so I don't know about that, and I think maybe something we should check on, because I think if we take action on it and have the physical document at a public meeting, it becomes a public document. But I might actually be wrong on that.
Where does it say about the confidentiality?
It's on page 5, right when you start. And what it also says in this is the other part that I'm kind of just curious, it's just really a curiosity question, is that it's confidential because commercial information is essential to Island Transit's competitive position. And so, although I understand why it's confidential for personnel records, I am curious about the competitive position when we're the only public transit agency in Island County. I'm not sure who our competitors are. I mean, it's just, that one literally is more of a curiosity. I'm sure there's a reason behind it. I just don't know why our business strategy would be confidential when we're a public agency.
Yeah, well, did legal review this?
I haven't seen it.
But this is federal boilerplate, this particular statement.
Well,
I don't really understand that paragraph either.
well, if it's federal, it makes sense we don't understand it. So
Well, what it looks like is that under the FOIA, the Federal Freedom of Information Act, this isn't, looks like it's a statutory exemption to FOIA for some reason. That's what I'm reading.
And the other aspect of it, it does require the agency's approval.
Well, if it's a resolution, and this is Exhibit A to the resolution, if someone made a public disclosure request and asked me, was this disclosable, I would say yes.
yeah, that's what okay.
Yep.
That's what I thought.
So should this maybe not be, it has all been done at Island Transit and passed as a resolution. I also am aware some other agencies, it does not go in front of their board, so,
So it's taken as internal administrative compliance.
that is my understanding with talking to WACA.
That's the way they do it?
Yeah, Andy said that it does not go in front of their board.
Well, that
Well,
was.
I concur with that, because originally we just had the two spreadsheets behind the resolution, and then at the December meeting said we don't want to see the plan, so we put it off to
Yeah.
now, and so that's why you see the plan, but typically you wouldn't see the plan. But now, you've seen the plan, so now it's,
Well, if we adopted a resolution which included only pages 45 through 61, which includes the documentation that has to go with it, and the resolution, doesn't that cover everything? That is, the resolution would not cover pages 3 through 44.
so it's part of, it's behind your business, it's in your board packet. It's behind business item number 3, I believe. Whatever we started out originally, yeah. And it would just be this resolution and then those two spreadsheets. Exhibit A.
That's all you're going to send in?
No, we will send
They have
in,
to send the
we have to
plan
send in
As
the
part of the
workforce
regulation.
analysis.
yeah.
And a signature page.
Yes. And then the resolution with the analysis.
Can we just direct the staff to comply with the affirmative action plan? The federal, state requirements?
Without a resolution? We could do that.
Yes,
We could do
well,
that.
for
We could do that.
history,
I think so,
yeah. Rick, for history, at the last board, or the last meeting, this came up, and all we had was that spreadsheet. So the question arose, where is the plan? You're showing me numbers, so now they come forth with the plan.
Numbers, we say we don't want it.
I don't know what the numbers mean, to me, that's not a plan. And so, now that we see this whole thing, but if it's something that the board is not required to do a resolution on, I would be comfortable with that, because otherwise, I wouldn't feel comfortable with those any behind the fire curve on it already. This is a 61-page document that I would want to read before I vote on it.
For me too.
So, I mean, I'm not gonna take action on it unless I read it.
Well, the alternative is to direct the executive director and staff to prepare the affirmative action plan. And we give our blessing to the numbers, the pages, what we see,
Yeah.
and let them send it in.
and submit it to the FGA.
And we won't take a resolution, we won't take action on the resolution.
It's more regulatory compliance.
Yeah,
Okay, and which should be handled internally. Send
Need
it
a
to me.
motion to do that, or will we?
I would do a motion just so we have it.
A track record?
Yeah.
Yes.
I would make a motion that we direct staff to comply with the 2015 through 2017 affirmative action requirements.
Second.
Moved and seconded to have staff comply with 2015 to 2017 affirmative action plan. Further discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Passed unanimous. Moving on to business item number 3. Is that right? Which was business item number 2. Is appointment to the,
No,
no, what are we doing?
we added a topic.
Okay, that's, okay. that's
Number
fine.
4 went to 2.
Which is now number 2.
All right.
Finance committee board
Number
members.
3 is to appoint a chair, or one more member to our finance committee, and the reason for this is the board had authorized and put together a finance committee of 2 board members to periodically, not monthly, but periodically review our financial position and financial statements with our finance director and the executive director. Our finance analyst and the executive director. And since we've had change in our board, we need to add one more member. And this is a voluntary position. It does take some time. Jim, how much time would you say you spend every month on this? I mean,
Well, probably about half a day, because we get the vouchers in advance, and then the exchanged some questions with the finance people. Then I come up here an hour ahead of the regular meeting to check on signatures and things like that that you can only do physically by coming on site, so. I mean, part of that is done remotely, so it's not half a day up here, but an extra, probably, in my case, extra couple hours coming up here.
We did have, our last other member was a county commissioner, and I realize that you have lots of work to do, but that person found some time to do it. It's voluntary.
I'd be willing to do that.
Okay, Jill,
If
thank you
there's
very
board-
much.
If there's board support for that.
There is board support, and this is an appointment by the board, so
I make a motion that we appoint Jill to that, fill that position and coordinate.
I second it. It's been moved and seconded to appoint Jill to be the second finance committee member. Any discussion? All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous. Thank you very much. Item number 3, I think this is
Number one.
Number one.
Was one.
well, we're going to visit item number 1? Okay, good.
You got the one?
Okay.
Old number one is now number 3. That's what I had.
Yeah,
Well, why don't we do it this, let me, that's fine.
the election.
Yeah, let's do, because I think this is, you need to do this one first. Elect the board officers for 2015.
Yeah, that's the plan.
Yeah, okay. And we need to elect a chair, a vice chair, pro tem, and a secretary. This, the term is 1 year. I am going to step down as the board chair because of a couple of reasons. One is that the town of Cookville has not officially taken their position as to who's going to be a member of this board yet. And there may be somebody in town council that would like to be a member. And so it's still up in the air. And I have also been board chair for a long time, and somebody else needs to assume this position and all of the glory and pay that goes with it. There is, I will tell you that the chair does have some additional responsibilities for the next year probably, and that is supervision of our interim director, and also a pretty tough job of kind of overseeing the hiring of a permanent director, so there's going to be some work to be done. And there is more work than just the monthly board meeting, so I will just say that it's a responsible position. Mr. Chairman.
May I open the umbrella, make a motion?
Okay.
I would make a motion that we elect Rick Holmberg as chair for the year 2015.
I would second that.
Been moved and seconded to elect Rick Wallenberg. Congratulations.
Well, wait a minute.
No way.
I heard it, buddy. You are the new guy in bed.
I was thinking that Mr. Sundberg has the tribal knowledge and the history that goes along with this, which is actually quite valuable in getting into this thing. So I would respectfully decline for that reason. But since there's a motion and a second, the motion belongs to the table now. And but I've spoken to the motion. Okay.
Okay, well,
What?
may I add?
Yeah, you can.
Yes, it's open for discussion now.
Yeah.
I would entertain the thought that, for one, Jim is on the finance committee, and that does consume a considerable amount of time. And with Joe, I thank you for graciously volunteering to help out with that, because I do know it takes a considerable amount of time, and commissioners' schedules are pretty on a daily basis. Rick, I feel that you bring a fresh eye and an administrative talent that you have, and a fresh outlook and everything, and a let's get things done attitude. That is what I feel what we need to move the board forward and to move transit system forward in the following year. It's gonna be some tough times. We need somebody who's gonna, this is gonna be a time-consuming position. I'm already chair on the Board of Health and a couple of things, and like I say, with Jim and Jill working together, I think it's the most common sense approach. And seeing if we don't know the status of what we're going to be getting from people, I would appreciate it if you would entertain.
I'd like to speak to that too, because I did second the nomination. And I seconded it for a couple of reasons. One is I had the opportunity to do a little web research on Rick Almberg's background, and I think his background is very valuable. Both, I believe, some experience in planning, and now his experience on municipal finance, which is one of his responsibilities in the town of Oak Harbor. I also witnessed today his level of energy and willingness to take up issues that we are working on and move them along as quickly as is practical. And the third thing I would say is my own time and energy availability. I think I'm pretty good at the details, and that's what I would be very happy to continue to share with whoever is chosen as chair, so that I can pass along the useful history from the past couple of years that I've been on the board. So that's an endorsement, Rick, of what I think you can bring to the position.
Does that come with a pay raise?
Yes.
Sure.
Well, and not to pile on, but because I am from Oak Harbor, I've had the opportunity to work with Rick in some different capacities. I know the things that have been said are true, that this transit organization is very important to our community. I know from previous conversations with Rick before he was put on this board that this organization is very important to him. The success of it is important to him, but he's also very no-nonsense. And I think that combination of tough-mindedness, but also passion for public transportation is really what we need right now, is somebody who's embracing both those qualities. And that is not to say, Mr. Clay, that you do not, but you said you didn't want to do it, so you're not getting compliments. Rick is. But I will say that I have complete trust in Mr. Almberg's ability to do this, and I would also be a motion maker had we not only needed a motion in a second, but my time hasn't come yet to give my support. But when you call for a vote, I'll do it.
Okay. Rick, I'm going to add to everybody else's, and I'm going to make this probably a unanimous, even if you said you don't want it, we're going to vote you in anyway. So I've known you for a long time, and you impressed me with your community responsibility and how you handle yourself in Oak Harbor, and which is not the easiest place in the world to be a politician. And you've done an excellent job and made that a better place to live. And I'm sure you'll give exactly the same amount of expertise and interest to Island Transit, and that's what it needs. It needs somebody that cares about this organization, cares about the employees and about the service that is provided, as well as be a good steward of our tax monies. So I would be more than comfortable having you as the chair, and it's really not as bad as what I said.
You scared me.
Okay, now I'm going to call for a vote of the motion, which is to make Rick Almberg the chair of Island Transit Board for the year 2015. All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
I'm not going to vote for or against myself.
Abstaining.
Well, congratulations.
Congratulations.
Some people are going great, some have greatness thrust upon them.
Thanks.
Feel thrust upon.
And now, since you're the new chair, you get to chair the meeting from now on.
What's the effective date?
Right now. So you get to carry on with business item number, whatever it is.
Well, we need to select two more officers.
That's right, two more options, vice chair, a secretary.
You know what, I'd make a motion that we stay on the typical business. We've got a rhythm going here, and I would prefer that, at least my motion would be to keep you in here to finish this meeting. As you started the meeting, let's finish the meeting.
Let's
We
finish
go up
it
the
now.
mountain together, we come down the mountain
All right.
together.
There we go.
Like it.
The next position is vice chair pro tem, and this person replaces the chair when he's not here. He or her is not available. So I'd open for a motion to appoint somebody.
Well, I'll make a motion then for Mr. Stunberg for vice chair pro tem. I think that's the role you're playing right now. Is that
Yes,
not correct?
yes,
Yeah,
that's
and you know, I just think that at this stage of things, it's really important to, like I said earlier, have that tribal knowledge right here all the time. You know, if I'm not able to be here, you're able to be here, you have a much better background than all of us have, except for Clay. So that's my motion.
Second.
You got it.
It's been moved and seconded to appoint Jim Sundberg as vice chair. Any further discussion? All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you, Jim. Our next position is secretary.
I'd like to make a motion to nominate Rick Hamill as secretary.
I second that. Been moved and seconded to appoint Rick Hanover as secretary of Island Transit for the coming year. Any further discussion? All those in favor of the motion?
I was just going to reassure
Oh, sorry.
Rick that the primary duty
I was
is,
gonna say, with the
signing off on documents that the staff have prepared. So it is, requires a careful eye, but not a lot of time.
Oh, well, then that's good. I'm good at reviewing documents.
Yes.
Of course, you're legally responsible for anything you sign.
That's
Don't let
okay.
that worry you, though.
That's okay.
All right, all those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous, thank you very much. Our last business item is appointment of one of our board members as Island Transit's representative to the RTPO board. And it's interesting because our commissioners are already on the RTPO board, so we should not appoint them as Island Transit's representative, but we should appoint one of the other three members. This has morphed itself into taking a little bit of time, and I have been the representative for quite some time, and you get yourself involved in any transportation issue on the island, as well as the 3 or 4 or 5 county area. It's really interesting. You get to meet a lot of different people. I think you don't have to spend that much time on it, but if you want to, you can develop it into an interesting experience.